Hey everyone, how are you doing? This is Jeremiah. I'm going to get started in just a minute, but first a real quick housekeeping note. Please put your name in the chat and just say hi. I've set it up so that all the chats privately go straight to me, so that you can ask any kind of question that you want during this presentation. Anything you want. Don't be shy. Nobody else is going to see it. Just you and me, and then we can have a good conversation, open and free conversation. I'm looking forward to doing more of these presentations because I think it's just a great way that we can all connect and really help each other and our hotels grow and get stronger. All right. So, hi Patty, how are you doing? Hi Mindy, Veronica, Matthew. Good hearing from you. Ellie, hello. And good to hear you, Tracy, over Connecticut. Tanya from Down Under. Excellent. Mindy. All right. Hi, Rick. So we're going to get going now. And the central question that I'm going to be working on today is, how do you make your ads more powerful, right? When they're more powerful, you draw in the audience that's really best for your hotel. And you also reduce the costs of your advertising. So it's a real good 1-2 punch. So that's a question that I get asked a lot. And the reason that it gets asked a lot is because people are typically used to seeing advertising and just kind of copying it. And they don't really get great results. And unfortunately, when you don't have great results, well, that creates a little bit of a little, I guess, lack of enthusiasm for doing your own marketing. So I'm going to do a little slide share, and I'm going to show you 4 of the main reasons, and then there's a 5th that will show you. Hey Philippe, how are you doing? That will show you a simple way that you can improve your marketing so that you can get a better response. So let's get started on that. Let me share my screen real quick. Okay. So sorry, I can't see the chat box when I'm showing my screen. So I'll jump back and forth between that. But I'm just going to go through one point, and then I'll jump to the Q&A section. So any questions that you have, please enter those in as we go through this. Now, the first problem that most ads aim to solve is that somebody doesn't know about you. They don't know what you offer. They don't understand what you offer. If they don't, well, then there's just no way that they could ever become your customer, right? So here's the problem that I have. Now, I'm not picking on Maestro. I'm not picking on MyCloud. I just picked these as 2 typical samples of PMS systems, that is property management systems. Now, I am a copywriter specializing in hospitality technology. I've been doing this for 5 years, and I don't know the difference between one property management system and another. I know the features are different, but emotionally, I can't feel a difference. And that's a big problem because, well, if you don't stand out as different in your customers' minds, how are they going to choose you over another at a second's glance, right? So I want you to think about a couple things here. Companies need a really strong USP. Now that's called a unique selling proposition. So I want you to think back to the really famous ad that launched Apple computers. Some people here like Apple computers. Some people like IBM. Well, at that time, IBM controlled 99% of the market. And Apple computers, they positioned themselves as the rebels, the people that would think differently. And if you remember this ad, it was based on that movie, 1984, where this lady is running into this room full of all these mindless drones watching this hate speech from the grand dictator or whatever, and she throws a hammer and it breaks the screen, and it created an amazing visceral impression that Apple was about thinking different and challenging the status quo and destroying the accepted norms. And that's what launched their company. That's what got them the attention that they needed to separate themselves from IBM. So they could have run on features, right? They could have said, "Oh, our processing speed's better, our design's better, our mouse features are better," whatever. They could have done that, but that really wouldn't have separated them from their competition psychologically in the minds of the mass public, right? It wouldn't have done that. So they created a psychological shock that proved they had a unique selling proposition, right? We are different than our competitors. We think differently, right? It's right in there with the slogan. So that's a really important example. A good way that you can do this is you can use this logic in your marketing. You say, hey, a lot of people think A, but it's really B. A lot of people think the Caribbean is all about rum and the beaches, but it's really about bringing your family together. That right there can be a really, really strong USP. Another thing is to really use personal identifying phrases. For example, we love when families come together. Our mission is to bring families together. Our story started when we first came down here with our families. We found that we had a really amazing bonding experience, and that's why we decided to open a hotel here, right? All those things are psychologically easy to remember for people, and that helps you stand out in your guests' minds. Okay, now I'm going to stop sharing so I can read any comments that you might have at the moment. So, okay, great. Yes, ask any questions that you want. Okay, Ryan wants to know how are you helping hotels position themselves differently than others? Well, if you really want to make a USP, you gotta get away from the features, and the best way to do that is to focus on human relationships. Something that says like, hey, ladies, is your husband always wrapped up in work? This is a great way to reconnect, right? You're telling a human story. I'm going to give you a couple examples of good hospitality companies that have done that, and then let me also show you how not to do it so that you can hopefully identify those problems in your own marketing and go forward. Any other questions? I will come back to the chat in just a second. All right. Okay. So the next problem that most people have in their marketing is it's not entertaining. Okay, now I have to say this with a little bit of, there's a caveat. You got to be careful when you're trying to just be entertaining. But let's look at this video. This is, I'm not picking on Travelodge because this is a third party. This is somebody else that's just doing advertising for hotels, and they're putting videos together, and the video is just a slideshow of all, the rooms. Here's the lobby. Here's the parking structure. Here's the pool. Here's the dining area. It's just a slideshow with music and this little thing. Hey, book this hotel for a 20% discount. It's an affiliate link. So I want you to notice that even though this was published back in May, it's had 19 views. Whoop-de-doo, right? On YouTube, which is the largest search engine really in the world, 19 views. So that is nothing. People are not interested in looking at the rooms. They're not interested in looking at the hallways, at the decor. They're not interested in any of this stuff. And why is that? It's because they are not in the shopping mood, right? They're not in the buying mood. So this is what you could call outbound marketing. It's something when somebody's not in the mood, you catch their attention. And during outbound marketing, if it's not entertaining, it doesn't catch their attention, right? So we can see that very, very clearly right here. It just doesn't catch people's attention. This is an example of the right way to do it. I'm sure everybody's seen the Dollar Shave Club launch promo video. This is a good example that he's not focusing on features. He doesn't say, hey, we have 3 blades, it has a 45-degree tilt, it has the smooth shaving, cream strip, it has all this other stuff. No, he just says, hey, our blades are fucking great. And then he continues to entertain the crowd for the next minute and a half. And would you look at that? 24 million hits, right? 24 million views. This launched their company. This absolutely launched their company. And, 119,000 thumbs ups. Wow, do you think those turned into potential customers? I do. So what we've just seen is that when you're doing outbound marketing, the features are not going to grab as well as entertainment. Okay. I guess I could play that video, but I am not going to for sake of time. Okay. Now, this point that I'm trying to make, that entertainment is a big, big thing, has also been echoed by Mgm Resorts International just recently with their new campaign called Welcome to the Show. They say, we build campfires, and I'm going to share. I think I have that open. I don't have that open, sorry. I thought I had it open, but I don't. So MGM has rebranded itself, and they say, we are not a hospitality company, we're an entertainment company. Our goal is to entertain humanity. So even if you're not in the mood for a vacation right now, you don't have time off in your schedule, the car is not packed, the kids don't have vacation from school, even if none of those criteria work, their advertising can still get you because it's entertaining and you watch it like entertainment, right? So that's a really important message in any kind of outbound marketing, effort. All right, I'm going to go back to the chat to see if anything's come up. All right. Hi, Matthew. Good to hear from you. Veronica. Okay, and Veronica wants to know if destination marketing, like CVV marketing, should be a big part of a hotel's outreach. Well, I think that's good, because the CVVs, they do produce a lot of entertainment-based marketing materials. I know California, they have the Dream Big promotion, and they really were targeting this at Chinese inbound tourists. And they got, Tony Hawk, and they got Bob Burnquist, and they built a ramp that was floating in the middle of the ocean, and he was skateboarding, and they had all these famous surfers and all these actors and all these really well-known people saying, hey, California is where you can dream big. So that was a message, right? Because it was the CVB, it was never going to promote any specific hotel. It was never going to show a picture of the bed or a picture of one thing or the other. They were really saying, hey, this is where you come to dream big. So that's a really good entertaining message. And with that, I'm going to move on to my next point that I think is important here. Okay, a lot of marketing, unfortunately, is not interesting. It's not fascinating. All right. So I guess I could play this. I have linked it. Let me try it. This is a guy who just rides water slides, and this is a travel lodge. And I picked Travelodge here because I wanted to show you, hey, look, one guy was doing just the rooms and the features of Travelodge. Now, this guy, he just went out there and he just rode their slides. And, you know, he got tons and tons and tons of views. Let me see, I'll turn this down a little bit. You know, all he does is go down the slide, right? That's it. This is the whole video. But that right there has helped him get over 1,000 views, 5.5 thousand subscribers since last. So now he's going to go down the slide in reverse. And now he's going to go down the slide sideways, I guess. And in slow-mo, reverse. My point is here is that it's just simply fascinating. It doesn't really have a point beyond being something to see that's kind of interesting, something you've never seen before. So with that point, you know, something people have never really seen before, that is a great marketing approach. So if your hotel, for example, the chef prepares a flambé in a really specific way that other people don't do, that is a great piece of content that you can use for your marketing, right? Even if somebody is not planning to take the vacation now, they don't have the time off, the kids don't have off school, they're still interested in checking that out because, hey, it's opening my mind. It's showing me something I've never seen before. So with that said, let me move on to another example. Okay, just a moment, please. Okay, so we had the pop-off guy. So how many people have ever put their kids in front of YouTube and shown them a video of some construction site? And it could just be like a simple, you know, they set the tripod up and they watch the cranes and everything, you know, move dirt around for an hour. If you've done that, you've noticed that, hey, a video like this that was published last April, right? So last April, it's you know, it's had 5 months to go. Oh, 21 million views. All right. So again, if your hotel has something that's fascinating, that's tedious, it could be your general manager repairing a sink. I don't care, whatever it is. If it's tedious and it has something that's interesting that could be seen by kids, that's really, you know, PG, that shows a process, it could be kind of fascinating. That right there could be a great marketing piece of content to put out. I mean, who would have thought, right? It could be something as simple as, hey, how do you check the pH balance in your pool? That could be something that gets you in front of people in an interesting way, so that they start seeing you, they start interacting with you. Even though they're not in the buying mood, it still gets them acquainted with your brand, and that is a big thing. All right. Any other questions at this point? All right. Okay. All right. Ellie is asking, what about horse training? I think that's amazing. If your property is close to some sort of, you know, or maybe offers horseback rides on the beach, and you can partner with one of those people, and you go down there and you interview them, and you talk about horse care, horse grooming, how do you put horseshoes on, what's the right diet for horses, all that stuff. That, I mean, little girls love horses. That's just right. That's a given. I remember when I was in Germany once, and I was teaching a summer camp for kids that were really bored during the summer. They were on base with the U.S. military, And there was this one little girl. She was very quiet. She didn't speak a lot. But then I noticed that she had a drawing book, and she could draw horses perfectly, like all of the musculature, everything. It was amazing, right? And that was the one thing that we really connected on, and we made sure that when we went camping, that we went out of our way to find these stables, and we went there, and her eyes just like lit up. So can you see how your hotel could use something like that to really bring attention to your area? I mean, that's, contact your CVBs and see what type of activities providers are in the area. Go to those activity providers and just drill them, pick their brains and say, hey, what do you do and how do you do it? Let's make a video about that. Let's host that on our website. We'll put that out on social media. We'll even do a paid marketing campaign. I mean, really, like I did a video on Facebook about 2 weeks ago, and for $20, I got 2.4 thousand views, right? If it was interest-based, hobby-based, some fascination-based, anything like that, all of that traffic, those are people that now know your brand and now know that that activity is offered near your hotel. So that's a huge marketing asset right there. Now, that I wanted to put that asterisk on the entertainment feature. Okay. The Dollar Shave Club guy, that's entertaining. The first time you see, like, wow, that's great. That's really funny. But there's a rule that says that the novelty, the cleverness, the originality of something decreases in direct proportion to how many times somebody views it. So I'm not going to watch the Dollar Shave Club guy more than 5 times. It's not going to be funny anymore. It's lost the element of surprise. So if any of your humor or entertainment relies upon the element of surprise, just realize that it can't be evergreen. You can't do it once and have people want to see it again and again and again. It would have to be something that you put out on a regular basis, right? Twice a week, 3 times a week, something like that. If it has the element of surprise, it's one and done. So just keep that in mind, okay? Now I want to go back to the kind of point. A point that I wanted to kind of mention on the first video that we watched. Do you remember the first one? It was an affiliate link, and some guy said, hey, just click here for 20% off. Well, that's affordable. That's a good deal. But if somebody is not in mood for taking a vacation, it doesn't work. Let me give you a reason why. It means it's not desirable at that moment. So, for example, can you sell a steak to someone after they just ate a steak? Right? After they just had a big dinner, could you convince them to go to your restaurant? Probably not, right? It doesn't make sense. That's the difference between outbound and inbound marketing. When it's inbound, they're hungry. They want what you have. So they're going to the OTAs. They're going to they're going to Google. They're going and they're looking for something. So at that point, yes, they want to see the room. They want to see the features. They want to see the parking. They want to see the maps. All that boring features stuff. But if they're not hungry, then, as I've just been kind of talking about in this presentation, the entertainment, the fascination, and the unique selling proposition are very, very important for catching their attention. So, as I highlight here, inbound is easy. It's a simple numbers game. Put your hotel on the OTAs, you will get traffic. Outbound needs something special to create desire. That means you need to create a special rationale. And when rationale is involved, it does not exactly mean that your hotel needs to just hit somebody with a deal. I stayed at a very beautiful hotel, the Boca Raton Resort, and spa last year, they keep sending me discount offers, 15% off, 20% off. It really doesn't do anything for me, just because I'm not in the buying mood, right? It doesn't do anything. But if instead they came out with a rationale, I think they could do a much better job. And that rationale starts with the idea, hey, it's just for me. This is really just what I want. It's targeted to me, who I am as a person. And I'm going to go into that a little bit. But first, does anybody have any questions at this point? Let me check here. Any questions? Okay. Hi, Rekha. Yes, this is important for. She's asking, is this important for hotels that have return visitors, people that have come there year after year after year? Well, yes. Jason McKee's presentation yesterday, he said that you need to, number one, make a list of the people that are your perfect guests. And that means the people who love you already. And then make a list of people who could be your perfect guests. And the reason that's important is you have to look historically. Everybody knows what happened in 2008 to occupancy and rates, right? They tanked. So right now, take a look at who your best guests are. Take a look at who comes to your hotel year after year after year, and then use something like Facebook. They have lookalike modeling that lets you then reach your potential guests, the people who would potentially become your year after year after year after year guests. And when you are reaching those potential guests, you can't reach them with the things that your every year guests talk about. Hey, we love that you're close to the beach. Well, that's great. That's great, but you need to expand beyond features and move into relationships like we've been talking about. Move into what's interesting, what's fascinating, what really means something to somebody. And as I'm just about to show you, what talks to somebody as an individual. If you know who your best guests are right now, that's great, because then you do that lookalike modeling, and then you get in front of them with a video that shows them, hey, this is for families that have 3 kids and the daughter loves horses, right? If you have horses on the beach, and they're going to say, oh wow, that's kind of exactly what I was looking for. Then your advertising kind of it elevates itself. It becomes less advertising and more convenience. This is exactly what I was looking for. You did me a service, and that's why I'm going to do you a service by giving you the attention that then leads to direct bookings. All right, so I hope that makes sense. Now I want to move into a Slideshare presentation that I have here. The questions coming in, so please feel free to ask me questions as you go. And another cool thing about this system is that even if you're watching the recording, I can see your questions as well. The system will automatically send me your questions, so that way it can kind of become a texting situation where if you ask me a question, I can say, hey, yeah, look at minute 27 of the presentation, and I address it there, for example. So that way this can be a back and forth conversation. So we're talking about how to make our presentations, our marketing more effective. All right. So I think the 4 points that it comes down to is you need a marketing plan. Number one, you can't be effective if you don't do it on a constant basis. Like, you can't go to the gym, buy the gym membership, and expect to lose weight. It's just as simple as that. So you have to put a little discipline in. I know that's not a whiz bang tactic. That's not a new ad platform or anything like that. That's a strategy. That's something that comes down to the core of who you are and how you do your business. get it on your calendar. Get a physical calendar, put it in front of your desk, and put the marketing activities that you need to do down there. And I guarantee that will make your marketing more effective, especially if you're using these kind of, interest-based, entertainment-based marketing efforts. Number 2, create a compelling bait piece. A bait piece is something that when somebody sees your video on YouTube, they can then click on it, and then they are directed to a page on your website that offers them something that's even more interesting, even more useful to them, and then you get their email address. So that's really important, because now we're talking about not inbound. We're talking about outbound marketing, right? When somebody's not hungry, they don't want another steak, they're not in the mood to go on vacation, etc. This is outbound marketing, and we need to get them to lean in. We do that by getting their email address and continuing the conversation that our email that the bait piece starts. So if the bait piece that they give us their email address is the 10 ways to groom a horse, lessons from the Portland hotel, for example. Sorry, not Portland, Astoria Hotel, up in Oregon. Then that would be something that you would continue in email marketing, and that would be how they start to lean in and kind of filter out the other hotels in the area and just focus on you. Number 2, nurture leads with a fun PR event. And by PR event, I mean an actual event that you're going to put on. You say, hey, it's fall, and now we're going to do a event. We're going to do a lamp lighting event. We're going to go down to the beach. We're going to light lamps. We're going to have bonfires, and all this stuff is going to go on. It's going to be really fun, and you send them invitations. That is a really, really simple way to get people talking to their wife. They say, hey, hon, why don't we go down there? Our daughter's going to love it. It's right on the beach. I love outdoor activities. It gives somebody a reason to do something. Again, it's a rationale, not a simple discount, right? People don't even care if it's $1 if they don't have a reason to buy it, right? So compelling PR piece is a really great reason for them to visit you. And next, commit to taking your hotel and your career to the next level. I really say mix business and pleasure here, right? If you go and do your PR event with full gusto and your owners see that, hey, this is a guy that's doing something proactively, it brings people in, you take credit for that, that takes your career to the next level, and of course helps your revenues. So the reason I'm saying all of this is because there's really never been a better time. There's never been a greater demand for the right information than there is now. I mean, we're all victims of it, right? If you go any public place, you see people like this, just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling on their phone. And it's not like somebody gave them a huge homework assignment. It's not like they have to do a research paper. They're looking for that dopamine kick when they can find something and say, oh, this is interesting, and oh, this is what I was looking for. This is exactly for me. This really solves that kind of unknown desire that I had, right? I'm sure we're all victims of this. Let's hear anybody here. Please say hi if that's something that you've fallen victim to. Do you have the scroll fidgeting habit? Yeah. Scotto says, yeah, me too. Okay. Marshall says, yeah. Katie says, all the time. Savannah, yep. Your husband complains about it all the time, I see. Yes. Veronica says she can't stop. I know. It's something I even say to my wife, like, what are you going through Facebook for? What are you looking for? She's like, just looking. Well, That's how it's been since the beginning of the internet, right? You say, hey, what are you doing? They say, oh, just surfing, just surfing. So when people are surfing, they're looking for those entertaining things. They're looking for those fascinating things. And if you can use fascination in your marketing, well, then you're going to catch their attention. All right, any questions at this point? Let me keep going. Okay, now this is a really important thing to keep in mind, okay? Let's imagine that you are sick. You go to Walmart, you go to Walgreens, you go to Rite Aid, Rite Aid, Walgreens, they combined, they hired a second cashier, and you go there and you got a headache. Now, which one of these would you choose? Would you choose this funky blue jar that says medicine cures everything, or would you choose this thing that said Excedrin migraine? Well, we know because there are no funky blue jars on the shelves in Rite Aid that Excedrin is the clear winner. Why is that? It's because it most specifically targets your need, want, or desire at the moment. It says, hey, this is migraines. It's for migraines. It's for people with headaches. So your marketing needs to say, this is for people with ... If you don't know that, if you're just saying, hey, it's for people that like to sleep in beds, that's so general, right? Who's that really going to appeal to? I would say, hey, it's for 25 to 30-year-old Google executives who are stressed out, but they really want to party hard with their team while they're getting work done. This is for you. Wow. They see that come up, and wow, that gets their attention. And then you proceed with something that's entertaining or fascinating. You proceed with something that's useful that then gets their email address, that then lets you send them emails, that continues the conversation. Hey, here's how we can help you. Here's how our hotel facilitates your group brainstorming sessions in a relaxed boutique way. Here are some other entrepreneurs that have used our facilities to launch their businesses. Here's how they attracted VC investors at our cafe. Here's how they closed the deal over drinks in our beautiful bar. These are all things that really create a conversation that enters people's heads, and that's what you want to do. Hotels are lucky. They are a needed commodity. Every night somebody needs a place to sleep, right? So there is a lot of inbound market, and as I mentioned earlier, that is a simple numbers game. But if you realize that also really brings us down to the main point that if it's a numbers game, then we're always dealing with competition, right? If we want to make it an outbound marketing game where we're capturing people's attention, 30, 60, 90 days out, then we have to make ourselves different than our competition. We need to show why we're different and create a conversation. So to do that, you need to most accurately pinpoint, just like the Excedrin demonstrates here, you need to most accurately pinpoint your audience's needs, wants, and desires. Okay? So, I really recommend sitting down, taking time, and putting yourself in your traveler's shoes. Get a piece of paper, list out the needs, wants, and desires, interests of your best guests. If you do that, you're going to really help yourself get away from the general marketing that most hotels do. All right. So next, after you do that, ask yourself, look at your marketing collateral that you have now and ask yourself, hey, is this right for me, or will this do the job? If you're showing a picture of a bed and it's clean, well, then this will do the job. It's a place to stay. But is this right for me? Does it match the shirt style? Does it match the hairstyle? Does it match the glasses style of your best guests? So you need to lean towards the is this right for me question. That's what people should see. That's what people should ask themselves when they look at your marketing work. So do that, and then if you just had a feeder system in place like this, then these guests would look at your hotel and say, yes, this is right for me. And that's where you create guest loyalty. All right, so how do we do that? And how do we do it so it's trackable? Trackable is the main thing. Is there anybody here who has heard the term ROI? Okay, ROI. Now, of course, right? I'm being sarcastic. This book is probably the most important book on marketing that you could possibly have. And if you haven't read it, get thee to a library. Okay, Tested Advertising Methods by John Caples. John Caples was an early advertiser, and he did something that was really cool. He wanted to have ROI on every single marketing campaign that he put out there. Right? It's a revolutionary concept. They didn't even call it ROI at that time. They probably just called it, let's make money on our advertising. So this is very different than the Madison Avenue advertising, where they would just put out an ad campaign in Life magazine and hope that it moved the needle. Right? If sales were up, then they would say, hey, it was because of what we did, even though they had no way of measuring that. Well, John Caples would measure it. So what he would do is he would create advertisements, and he would print them as if they were billboards, and then he would go to really high traffic areas like bank lobbies, for example, and he would put these billboards around, and he would go around town, and he would put them in different banks, and he would post somebody nearby, and they would take notes to see how many people stopped, how long they stopped, and any kind of reaction that they had. From this, even though he would switch the advertisements around on different days, he found that the most popular ads would pull the best wherever he put them. Right? Human nature is kind of similar as you know, as it is. So with that, he would take the most popular poster boards, then he would turn them into ads, and then because he's in direct response, he would say, you know, reply to this ad, reply to department 25, which just meant advertisement number 25, right? People would reply to the department 25. He would count the money, and then he would be able to know advertisement 25 versus 24, which one's stronger. So he would know his ROI on all his ads. So that's what he did in the early days to take credit and for his work and take credit for which ad was best, so that he would then take advertisement number 25, and now let's throw $10,000 of marketing power behind it. Now let's roll it out, and let's send this out to 1 million people. First, you need to test, see the ROI, and then you can scale. So revolutionary idea, I know, but that's what we really need to have in our marketing for our hotels. The OTAs do this very well because they only charge on commission. But when you're talking about your own marketing, your own paid marketing, you need to put that ROI measurement in place so that you're not wasting money. You're getting the biggest bang for your buck. And the way you do that is to start by scrapbooking 5 themes. So I mentioned the hotel that just happened to have horses on the beach, right? So that's a theme. You get a folder, a physical folder, and start cutting stuff out and throwing it in there. If another hotel happens to have a local tour company that stops by, well, then go to the tour company and see what they offer on their tour. Cut pictures from that. Cut stuff from social media. Start scrapbooking all that. So you get those 5 themes going. Okay? Get lots of material. Then I want you to start thinking of 5 offers that can bring in the authentic experience to those 5 different themes, so that people can look at your advertising and say, and they can ask, hey, is this for me? Instead of the less powerful, will this work? What I mean by that is somebody is, they're on LinkedIn, for example, and you put an ad on LinkedIn and it says horseback riding for the whole family in Oregon. And they say, oh, well, my daughter loves horseback riding. Let's click on that. And then they click on that, and then it shows a video of how to take care of, how to take care of your horse's coat and how to put horseshoes on. Oh, that's kind of interesting. They watch it for a little while. They click in, and they see the Bate piece, which is, 5 ways to take care of horses. They get that, and they start to say, hey, this is for me. I'm going to share this with my family. They go home at night and they say, hey, honey, check it out. There's this hotel I want to take our daughter to. They have horseback riding lessons on the beach. So right there, it gives a person a rationale to do something. And it makes it so easy to communicate the plan to their family, right? They're not going to go to their husband or wife and say, hey, there's a hotel, the dining room has such and such chairs, and it has such and such features. That doesn't make any sense. Really, all the significant other needs to know is, hey, is it a 3-star hotel? Is it convenient? Is it affordable? That's all they need to know. Hotels are a very known quantity, after all. So it needs to be, yeah, there's a hotel, and here's a reason why we should go there. So we're focusing on the reason there, and attach the reason to your deal, to your offer. Hey, click here and get the nice room with the ocean view and the horseback riding lessons included. Now, once you do that, then it's very easy to add it to your booking engine. It doesn't really matter which technology you have, because you're going to know that the room plus horseback riding offer is only really listed on your social media marketing channel, for example. Hey, we did this campaign on Facebook, and now we can turn around and count how many reservations came in for that room type. So right there, you have a very simple measurability in your marketing, and that's vital, because the next point is that you take that offer, and then you start to test it. So you send pictures of these different offers out to your email list and start segmenting your lists. So if you have a monthly newsletter that you send out, send that out, and one of the pictures has pictures of horses. You see who clicks, and then you take that segment of your list and you put them over here, and you say, hey, these people, we're going to now target them with variations on the horseback riding offer, right? Hey, it's fall. The leaves are falling. It's a beautiful time to come out and ride horses with us. So that way you continue that conversation with that audience. And then the great thing about Facebook, as I'm sure you know, through MailChimp, is you can actually create a retargeting list according to emails. So if you have over 200 emails in that list, then you just talk to Facebook and say, hey, put out these pictures. This pictures of this young girl. She's having a great old time riding horses through the maple leaves, and you can stay at our Astoria hotel and do all of that. So that plays on the little heartstrings, wouldn't you agree? So segment your lists, and then you can start to use these 5 different themes that you've created to really talk to the people that already know you, and also start pulling in those lookalike audiences as well. All right, so it's Q&A time. We got about 10 minutes left, so anything people want to ask, now's a great time to ask it. Veronica wants to know about Viking cruise tours. Okay, that's in Germany. They go up and down the Rhine rivers, and they see all the castles, and people get on and off, and those are kind of package tours. So what I would really recommend there is that people usually they stay at designated places along those tours, and that's all kind of tied into travel agents and package tours. You know, if you are close to one of those ports of call, if you are one of those, luckily conveniently located hotels, yeah, I would definitely show them the things that they can do when they get off of the tour, and they can do in your area that would really kind of create an awesome experience. I mean, Germany, for example, they have a lot of antique. Every Sunday, they have a huge antique bazaar, and you can go there and you can get all these cool things that people can then buy and take back to their homes. Hey, I would use that to appeal to people. I would use that to create big appeals. In our recently released book, Hospitality Marketing Synergy, with Jason McKee, myself, and Lauren Gray, we talk about creating partnerships. And I would go down to that antique fair, and I would create a partnership with one of the people who has a stall there. I would show some of the cool things that they are selling on their table. That's fascinating, right? You can take them down, take a video camera down there, show the cool stuff that they're offering. Hey, only pennies for 1940s memorabilia, pictures of Christmas in Germany, for example. And if you've never been to Germany during the winter, I mean, that's where the image of Santa Claus comes from, I swear. So, hand tinted pictures or whatever, use that in your Facebook marketing, use that in your email marketing. Partner with one of those travel agents and say, hey, I'm selling your package with the Viking tours. Would you also consider selling my hotel as one of the lodging options? Do that, and you can create those partnerships. And then, hey, wouldn't that be great if you start getting bookings from Facebook of people that want to stay and experience stuff, and then you can show that traffic to the Viking tours, and then Viking tours sees the traffic, sees that you're valuable, and they start seeing you as a preferred lodging provider. I mean, wouldn't that be great? That's win-win for everybody. You're giving them power, they're giving you power, and then it's all helping solve people's question that they have in their mind of, hey, what can I do there? What can I see there? What can I really plan on that's going to make sure that this trip is just a great experience? You're answering all that for them. So your advertising is not advertising. It's really customized planning. You're acting as a concierge. You're creating convenience. You're helping people, and that breaks through. That's so much better than, here's a bed, here's a discount, please stay with us. That's not really creating desire. That's not creating a rationale to visit, but doing all this other stuff does. So that's what I'm talking about here. Any other questions? All right, I'm going to move on just for sake of time. I won't get through all of my slides here, but I think the point is really create a bait piece, create something that gets people to give you their email address. That's the bottom line. Okay, if your hotel is not doing that simple thing, then you don't have an outbound marketing strategy. You only have a pay-per-click strategy, right? When they're hungry, you hope they click on your ad, and you hope they come and stay with you. That's all you have. That's not outbound. That's an inbound strategy, okay? Call it paid marketing, call it whatever you want. It's still an inbound strategy. So part 2, we're going to talk about creating a compelling bait piece. Now, I use these shoes because just like the tested advertising method, where John Caples went to the bank and he put out these billboards, and he looked at how many people looked at them and how long they looked at them. There's a method to the madness. I mean, I would never wear these shoes, but Nike obviously did some advertising research, and they found that this was popular enough to produce. Right? It's not cheap to produce a sample of the new shoes, but they went ahead and did that. So To do that, we need to answer these 4 basic questions of our guests, and then we'll have a really good understanding of what we need to do. So, number 1, what are people motivated by? Really, what's going to get them out of their cubicle? What's going to get them to plan a vacation, to book a ticket? What's going to get them to take their kids out of school? What's going to really get them into your town, right? What's that? You need to know that. You need to list that out. Number 2, what are they looking for? So they're coming to your town. Let's assume they're coming to your town. Now, what do they need when they get there? I need a good place to eat. Maybe I need to go to a family-friendly restaurant, or maybe I want to go to someplace that's romantic with a view, right? What do they need in terms of lodging? That should be simple. That should be something you know very well about. But also, hey, do they need a crib? Are there ADA concerns? Are there parking concerns? How can you serve them better than your competition? You should know all that, and that should all be down on paper. If it's not physical, then it's not actual. Okay. So number 3, why are they having a hard time finding an answer? Well, the point is that most hotels just advertise their beds and they advertise their feature. They don't really think about the fact that, parking is hard in Monterey. So no hotels really talk about that because it's not a quote unquote, it's not their problem. But if you realize, hey, it's our guests' problem, so then we should help them find answers to hard to find topics. That also adds a lot of value into your Bate piece. So going back to the example of the Astoria Hotel that's using, horse grooming things in their Bate piece, these are 5 things you need to do to make sure a horse has a really nice coat. Well, also, by the way, when you come to our area, parking is difficult. These are the 5 places we recommend to park. Okay? By the way, we have free parking and it's right off the highway. That positions you very well, right? So answering the hard to find questions and answering them with your USP is a really good 1-2 punch. Number 4, how can you show over the top value? Well, that goes back to your offer, the offer that you've made that shows that it's a room plus horseback riding lessons. That is over the top value. You're creating convenience by doing that. But then, really get into who you are and what you know as a local. I would recommend going and interviewing all the staff on property. Hey, what are the top 5 great local experiences that you always recommend to friends and family when they come into the area? What are they? If it's Seattle, well, where on Fisherman's Wharf should you go? Well, you got to go to Mama's Mexican restaurant. This is the best one. Okay. If it's Tokyo, well, did you know that in Tokyo there are places where you can spend $200 a night, and there's places where you can spend $20 a night and have equally as much food and drink and great time. Well, that place is just behind the train station. You got to go down this little alley, and you wouldn't notice it because it's just this little door, but you got to go downstairs, and there's all these people. It's totally fun. All the waiters and waitresses are punk rockers. You got to check it out. So those little secrets, those insider, we say in Japanese, anoba, locals only knowledge, that delivers over the top value. And really, that's something that you should have in your marketing, because when you do, you're bonding with people. You're giving them something of value, and what do they give you in value in return? They give you their attention. Attention blocks out the competitors. Attention keeps them from going to the OTAs. Attention also keeps them from basing their decision on price alone, right? You're winning on value, not just price. And when you win on value, that's really great, because they can go home to their husband or wife and they say, honey, let's go here because they have this great deck over the trees that the sun comes in perfectly. We can have a glass of wine and we can talk. That's what people really want. They don't just want a place to sleep. I'm sorry, but everybody has that. Everybody sleeps somewhere every single night. And most people's homes are very beautiful. They're luxurious. So you can't win on luxury like hotels used to. You've got to win on something to do, right? A rationale to get out of the bubble, a rationale to go and accomplish. There has to be a mission. So I'm almost up with, it is the top of the hour, but that's the point of all of this. Give people a mission in your marketing. If you can do that, if you can fascinate them and give them a mission, if you can entertain them and give them a mission, if you can create an offer that gives them a mission, then it's so easy for them to say, honey, I've got something cool for us to do this weekend. And right there, that is an outbound marketing strategy. All right, well, I'm going to check the chat box last moment. I got to go pick up my son. So if you have any questions, I'm going to close down the webinar right now, but you can enter them in the chat box and the system will automatically email them to me so we can continue this conversation. Hope you've been having a great day and you enjoyed this presentation, and looking forward to talking to you next time. Have a great day. Bye now.